Okay guys, this is the lesson we missed on Friday. So I'm going to go quickly through it and you're going to copy your notes so that we can get on to today's lesson. Alright, so the first thing you're going to do is we're going to look at this equation and we're going to graph it like we've been doing by coming up with some solutions. Okay, so the first thing we do is we know we can actually substitute any number in for x and because there are infinite solutions to this. So we can substitute any number in for x and find what y is. So I'm going to go ahead, let me get a better pen. I'm going to choose to substitute 1 in for x and I'm going to find what y is. So 1 times, instead of x, I'm going to write 1 plus 2y equals 5. I might be able to do the math in my head, but I'm going to go ahead and do 1 times 1 is 1 plus 2y equals 5, and I have to get y alone. So this is a positive 1. I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. I get 2y equals 4. Divide both sides by 2. I get y equals 2. 1, 2 is one of my solutions that will make this true. Okay, I'm going to also try, I'm just going to put 2 in and I'm going to see what I get. So 1 times 2 plus 2y equals 5. 1 times 2 is 2 plus 2y equals 5. And I get y alone. I subtract 2 from both sides. 2y equals 3. Divide both sides by 2 to get y alone. I get y equals 1.5. Okay, so I've gotten that far. I am also, I'm going to show you that you can also substitute for y. So go ahead and move down here. I'm going to rewrite. We have 1x plus 2y equals 5. I can also go ahead and just plug in a different number. So I'm going to remember that I'm substituting, I'm going to put 5 in for y. So that's here. So we have 1x plus 2 times 5 equals 5. Well, that means 1x plus 10 equals 5, and now I'm solving for x because it's my variable. Subtract 10 from both sides. I get 1x equals 5 minus 10 is negative 5. So now I have another point, negative 5, 5. Okay, one more time. 1x plus 2y equals 5. I'm going to find another solution. I'm going to substitute, I'm going to leave x blank, and I'm going to substitute negative 3 in for y. 1x plus 2 times negative 3 equals 5. That gives me 1x plus negative 6 equals 5. I'm going to add 6 to both sides. I get 1x equals 11. 11 negative 3. So I have found 4 points, and I'm going to put them right here. So 2, comma, 1.5, 1, 2, 1, 2, negative 5, 5, and 11, negative 3. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and graph those points, okay? So 2, 1.5. 2 is my x value, so I go on my x value to my x-axis to 2. I'm going to zoom in some. 2, and then I go up 1.5. So that's about there. Next, I have 1, comma 2. So that means I go to x1 and I go up 2. And then I have negative 5, 5. That means I go all the way to negative 5 and then up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I have 11, negative 3. So 11's not on here, but I could go ahead and mark it. And I could go down to 1, 2, negative 3. If I've done this correctly, this should form a line. I'm going to go ahead and grab my ruler and show you that they do form a line. Okay? And now we have to remember, every single point on this line is a solution. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about this form of the equation that we've been working with. These are for linear equations, which make a line. So in your notes, I want you to put this in front of you. You're going to write the standard form of a linear equation is ax plus by equals c. Ax plus by equals c. In this form, we have an a and we have a b, and those are coefficients or numbers in front of variables. They're not usually a and b, they're usually numbers like 4 and negative 5. and then they equal a constant. And the constant is a number on its own. A number on its own. So these are the types of equations we've been working with. 4x minus 5y equals 12. In this case, the coefficient of x, or our a value, is 4. Our coefficient of y, or our b value, is negative 5. And we have a constant, c on its own, or the number on its own, which is 12. Okay, this is what we've been working with. What we're going to do today is play with the idea of, well, what if one of our coefficients, or here this is our ax plus by equals c, what if our b value is 0? What happens, okay? So if we have this, I'm going to do the same process. I'm going to pick a number for x, 1 times 1 plus 0y equals 5. I get 1 plus 0y equals 5, and I'm going to try to solve. Subtract 1 from both sides, 0y equals 4. This is getting weird. Can I divide by 0? Like, is that okay? Well, watch. 4 divided by 0 actually gives me an error because you cannot do this. So I'm stuck. Does that mean this isn't a line? No. We are going to try something else. 1x plus 0y equals 5. We're going to try substituting for y instead of for x. So I'm going to put a 1 in for y. So we have 1x plus 1 times y. Oh, sorry. Don't write that. 1x plus, we have a 0 times 1. We're replacing 1 for y equals 5. That's 1x plus 0 times 1 is 0 equals 5. We don't need our 0, so we actually have solved it. 1x equals 5. So 5, 1 is a point on this line, or a solution. Okay, so let's keep substituting for y. Let's put in 2. Put 2 in for y. We have 1x plus 0 times 2 equals 5. 1x plus 0 equals 5. Uh-oh. We got 5 again. So we have another point, 5, 2. Okay, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pick a negative number. Maybe something different will happen. I'm going to do 0 times negative 3 equals 5. So I'm putting negative 3 in for y. 0 times negative 3 is 0. It happened again. That's gone. We have 5. So I want you to notice what's happening. Every time our x value is 5. So we have 5, 1, 5, negative 3, and 5, 2. So why is that happening? Look back at this equation. Why are we always getting 5 as our x value? Well, you may notice that every time our y value is multiplied by 0, so it disappears. So we always end up with the same x value. That's going to happen no matter what we put in. I can put in 14 in for y, and I'm still going to get 5 for x. So let's go ahead and graph this. We have 5, 1, 5, negative 3, 5, 2, and then 5, 14, which would be way up here. The point is, what you get is a vertical line. A vertical line that goes through the x value of 5. Okay, and all of that is happening because our x values are the same every time. So every point on this line has an x value of 5. So your notes say, in standard form, when the coefficient of y is 0, right here, the coefficient of y was 0, we have a vertical line where every point on the line has the same x value. So for instance, we had 1x plus 0y equals 5. So we had 5, 3, 5, 2, and 5, 1. You can find these because all the points will have the same x value. So what that actually means is the equation on star will not be written like this. They will go ahead and deal with this 0, and they will just write x equals 5. And so the way you know how to graph this line is you go where x is 5 the whole time. Also want you to notice this only crosses the x-axis. It does not cross the y-axis. So only intersects, which means crosses, the x-axis. All right, okay, so we're gonna do another example.